my name is Allison Coe. I'm a hypnosis practitioner in Portland, Oregon. I do Beyond Quantum Healing Hypnosis. And this is a transcription. I'm just reading a transcription from one of my recent sessions. This is with a gentleman in California. It probably took place at the end of April or thereabouts. And this is a young father. He's married and he has a beautiful 9-month-old baby at probably the time of this recording. Now, this baby is nonverbal, so please keep that in mind when you listen to this session. He's too young to really talk. So some of the messages that come through this session are really, really emotional for the father to hear. And let's see, we're talking about an event that, weaves its way through my sessions and has for years. And 90% of the sessions that I don't post have information about the event in them. So just know that the information in this session is completely validated through my other sessions. In fact, I've had 2 sessions since this one, before I posted this, that actually say about 80 to 90% of what this gentleman is saying in his session. And as I'm listening and participating in these other client sessions, I kept thinking, man, I wonder if they listened to my new recording. And then I realized, oh, I haven't even posted that. I haven't even done it yet. Oh my gosh. So that's how validating this stuff is. And so please take that and keep that in mind when you listen to the details of this. Something else to keep in mind is there is a time frame given in this session, and please take it with a grain of salt. Time is always changing, and please keep that in mind. I get in trouble for those things, so I'm putting my faith in you guys to handle it. All right, let's begin. Okay, deep breaths, Allison. All right. I'm in an open field. There's tall grass, like a meadow. There's mountains in the distance, and there's somebody here with me. Okay, what can you tell me about this being that's there with you? He's male, tall, with white hair. He's human. How do you feel in this place with him? Peaceful. It's a nice, quiet, tranquil field. Now let's go ahead and have a look at you and how you appear in this place. I'm barefoot. My feet are touching the ground. I'm not wearing a lot of clothes, maybe just a couple things of cloth. I've got a big, thick beard, thick, dark, shaggy hair. I get the sense that I'm like a caveman, a Neanderthal maybe. And this other being who's in front of you, does he seem similar to you or quite a bit different? He's different. He doesn't seem like he's from around here. He's looking at me and smiling. Feels like he's coming down to check on me, like he knows who I am and I know who he is, but on a subconscious level. Okay, he's coming down to check on you. What would he like to check on? He's checking to see how I'm doing, kind of just to visit. Feels like a very close friend of mine, like a family member. I haven't seen him in a long time. Where does he come from? He comes from up above. I can see his ship right behind him, not too far away. He says I'm ready to go up with him. He says it's time to go. What does it feel like to you when he says that? How do you feel? I feel like I'm ready. I've been waiting for it. I'm following him into the craft. I'm just looking behind me and getting one last look of where I was, and I'm following him inside. What do you notice when you get in the craft? There's a female there. She turns around to look at me. She's sitting in front of a control panel. She's smiling at me. I'm happy to see her. She feels familiar. They both feel familiar, but it's not like I know who they are. but I get the sense that I know who they are from somewhere else. What was your mission in coming down to Earth and having that existence? Just to experience. I feel like I just needed to roam around and enjoy the beauty, feel the natural landscape, and be at peace, and walk and hike and explore. I feel like it was partly to take a break and partly just to be present. So it was more of a personal mission rather than something for you guys as a team. Is that your sense? Yeah, some of it had to do with bringing back information about the plants and the wildlife. But mainly, I wanted to do it for myself too, to just be present. And what happens next? We're getting ready to take off. They both sit down in their chairs in front of me, and they're interacting with the control panel, and they're getting ready to take off, and I'm sitting behind them. Do you have a specific role on the ship, or are you just a passenger? I'm just a passenger there. I feel like the ship's taking off, and we're heading towards a bigger ship. And tell me about this bigger ship, whether that's inside or outside. I see ourselves being in orbit, and our craft is entering through this larger hatch, and we're entering into the bigger ship that's overlooking the planet. And what happens when you get on the ship? I'm walking outside onto a large platform. There's a lot of people standing around waiting for me, and they're cheering, celebrating. It feels so good. I'm overwhelmed with joy and happy to be back. They're all there. I'm happy to be back. What a reunion, huh? Can you tell, do they all seem to be human, or are they all a variety of different beings? They're mostly human. They're mostly human, but there's a few that look different, but I know them all. Do you recognize any of them as being on Earth in your life now? Yeah, we're all up there. My whole family's up there. The ones that are with me here on Earth, they're up there. And how about your son? He's there too. He's smiling. He's a few years older. He's wearing a suit, like a space suit. He may be 4 or 5 years old. He's walking towards me. He's got a big smile. I'm happy to see him. Oh, I bet. And do you guys look similar to what you do on Earth or different? A few of us look different. I feel like we look different up there, but I see them how I want to see them. Now, do they have any messages for you today? I just get the feeling of accomplishment. We did it, is the message I keep hearing. Do you get a feeling for what they're referring to? Yeah, our mission is done. Our mission is complete. We did it. Accomplishment and celebration that it's over and they're bringing me back. And now that I'm back on the ship, it feels like finality, like mission accomplished. What exactly was the mission? We were on Earth. Our mission was to anchor the light. There's a lot of us, and I feel like we kept on coming down in different stages at different times, together and alone. And I get the sense that we've been doing it for a long time. We've been here for a long time. We've been above Earth for a long time, and we've been coming down to the planet, and we've been anchoring light. We've been just being. It's been hard. It's been really difficult for us at different times. But our main mission was to just be on Earth and bring forward higher energies so that she could evolve. So the goal was to anchor the light so that the Earth could evolve? Yes, just us being on the planet, anchoring light. So it sounds from what you're saying, you guys all took turns, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, coming to Earth and anchoring light. Yeah, we've been here a really long time, since the beginning. I feel like we've never left. And our mission was to observe and to monitor the planet as the people on it slowly evolve. I get the sense we've been here through all of Earth's stages. We've seen humanity go up and down. I'm seeing the pyramids. I'm seeing when they were more advanced, and Atlantis, when they went back down to being primitive again. And we've just been here the whole time. We've never left. And is mission complete in modern times, or is mission complete when you were that kind of caveman? You can ask somebody if it's not clear to you. I feel like mission was complete, and then I decided to go back in time when there weren't a lot of people on Earth. I decided to go back to a time when people were still primitive and I was still in the Neanderthal body, but I was aware. I was aware of who I was, and there were primitive people on the planet, but I didn't interact with them. I mainly just wandered on my own, and it was just a time for me to unwind and relax after everything was said and done. I needed time for myself to roam around and be in nature undisturbed and to see the planet before everything got bad. But now I'm back on the ship and I'm reunited with everybody and I'm back in the present. What are the mechanics of going back in time for a little break? It's easy for us. I feel like it's partially just our technology, and it has to do with our consciousness. As we're going down on the ship, down in the smaller ship, down back to Earth, we can choose where we want to be, in what time on the planet. And it's a matter of setting your intention. I see my 2 crew members touching some devices on the monitor as the ship crosses through the atmosphere. My intention is what chooses the time frame on Earth we want to be in. It's really easy for us, and we've been doing it for a long time. Does that work in the future as well? Yeah, it works at any time. Time isn't linear. We are where we want to be at any given time. When we're up on the ship, it's kind of like we're in a different time within space, but we're still looking down on Earth in the present. So can we take a view into the Earth and say 2022 or 2023? What would you have to like leave the ship to do that? Or can you do that from the ship? I'm looking down on the planet from a smaller ship inside of the atmosphere, and I see a lot of water. I see crystal structures on the coast, like small cities. I feel like they're the beginning of bigger cities. They're being made. All around, there's crystal cities that are coming up. And all around, I see signs of the old buildings, old houses, old lines, and they're coming down. And as they're coming down, these crystal cities are being built. And it's like they're being built on grid lines, whereas humanity before would just build and build and build everywhere. And they would break apart the landscape to build more and more homes and more buildings. And those are coming down. And now humanity's moving towards these pinpoints, these grids, and this crystal city is being built. And that's what I'm seeing from up top, from the sky. Beautiful. And what happened? What shifted on the Earth to allow for this change to happen? I know you guys anchored the light, but what happened then? There was a big catalyst, an avalanche of light that hit the planet. We were helping, and other people were helping. I feel like it got to a breaking point finally, and the Earth was inundated with this light, and this was the start, the beginning. And what happened to people when this avalanche of light hit the Earth? Can you go to that point and look? Were they able to see the light as well as feel it? I see people walking, going about their lives, and all of a sudden, it's like a flash. The light comes down from above and hits everybody. These beams are hitting these people. They stop in their tracks and they're hit with these beams of light, and it's like a huge shock. They stop what they're doing. Some of them fall to the ground. Some of them stay standing, but it's like a convulsion. Like some people go into convulsions and they can't handle the light. And others are able to just sit down and be in it. It's so sudden. It's kind of chaotic. People didn't expect it. It's like they're in shock. They're all getting hit all at once, and it stops them in their tracks, and it stops everything. And what happens next? I'm seeing a lot of people that need help. I'm getting that it was a solar flash. We got hit with too much light all at once. And there's a lot of people in shock. A lot of people are on the ground and they need help. They need help understanding. They need help handling the light. And I'm running around from person to person on the ground and then kind of consoling them, touching them, telling them it's okay. I see other people doing the same thing. How did these people react when they were told it's okay? What happens to them? They don't know what to think because they're kind of in a different state of mind. Some of them aren't even conscious. They're not aware of what's going on. Some of them are convulsing, but they're aware of what's happening, but they're not in their mind. They're somewhere else. But I'm just going to them, touching them, soothing them. It's helping them in a way. It's helping them relax. It's not going to help their bodies calm down. They're going to keep convulsing, but it's helping their minds find some semblance of peace. I feel like a paramedic, this great explosion that's happened, and it's knocked a lot of people to the ground, and I'm going from person to person. I feel like I've got some sort of medic kit, but it's not a physical kit, but I feel like I have the tools and I know what to do, and I'm touching these people on the forehead and it's soothing them. And there's other people doing the same thing. I feel other light workers running around and doing what I'm doing. And are you able to tell when this is actually taking place? When does this seem to be occurring? Well, it occurred in the middle of the day, and I don't feel like it's cold. I feel like it's a summer day, sometime in the summer, maybe July. It doesn't feel like fall. It doesn't feel like winter. It feels like summer. And how about your family? How did they react to this light? Well, my little brother's with me. He's there helping me. He's a medic. He's a paramedic. He knows how to heal people. My wife and my son are okay, and I don't know where they are. They're not with me, but I get the feeling that they're okay. Maybe they're back home. The rest of my family's back home. They're all in a safe space. And me and my little brother, we're the ones on the ground. We're the ones helping people. I feel like the rest of my family, we all kind of knew this was going to happen before it happened. And my family had time to go back or to go somewhere safe. And my brother and I, we stayed behind. We knew it was going to be hard while the light hit the planet. We knew it was going to be really hard, and it was going to be hard on our bodies. But we decided to stay here and be a part of it so we can help the ones that weren't ready. So when you say your family went someplace safe, does that mean they went off planet or somewhere else? I get the sense that they're off planet. And does that include your son and your wife as well? They're off planet. Maybe their bodies are still here, but their consciousness is off planet. So they're not feeling the full effects of the light. They're in a meditative state, but their consciousness is on a ship. They're sleeping. I see. And so for you and your brother, you chose to be boots on the ground to help people. Can you walk me through what it is you're feeling, since you would consider yourself a light worker? What are you actually experiencing from this avalanche of light, as you call it? Whether that's emotional or physical or mental? Well, when it first hit, I feel like I needed a few minutes to just be in it, and get used to it. It was a shock for me too. It definitely made me stop what I was doing. It was a shock for my body, but I recovered pretty much right away. I was only down for a few minutes, and I recovered right away, and I knew what to do once I woke up. I've been getting ready for this. I've been getting ready for the light. I've had my downloads. I've been slowly becoming in tune with this. And it was just the initial shock that got me down. But once I woke up, I'm able to deal with it. And now I'm on. I know what to do. I'm busy. It's hectic, but I'm in the zone. I'm doing what I came to do, and I'm in action. My brother and I, we know what to do. What are people needing at this time besides your reassurance? The people around me, they're not used to the light. They're not used to these energies. So they need assurance. They need help getting through it. We're just there to ease their transition. And what does that transition look like? I'm seeing people slowly waking up. It's like they've been asleep and now they're awake. And I feel like not everybody made it through. It's not the same amount of people that there were before, and people are waking up and they're confused. And they're slowly going to remember what happened, where they were, and they're in a different place now. It's still the old earth, but it's in the new earth. Everything still looks the same, but it's a new vibration. Everybody knows they're going to be more aware as time goes on of where they are. And we're going to start anew. We're going to take back the planet. We're going to undo what was done. And do your wife and son come back from their meditative state to be a part of that? Yeah, I feel like we're going to be living back on the ship for some time. That's where our family is. That's where our crew is. We're going to be living in our ship, but we're also going to be slowly moving back down once the cities are ready. Some people are going to stay on the planet. They're going to live in the crystal cities, and they're going to help rebuild the planet. And we're going to be helping too, but we're mainly going to be back in our ship up above. How will you help from up above? Can you walk me through that? We're going to be supervising the reconstruction. My family and I, we came from above. We're not from here, from Earth. The ship has been our home for a long time, and that's where we're happy. But a lot of people are from here. They're from Earth. They've been here a long time, and this is their home, and we're going to work helping them. We're helping them to rebuild. We're monitoring from above, but we're also working with them on the ground. And we're taking down the old buildings in the old cities, and we're helping them bring back the forests, bring back nature, clean the water, bring back the animal life. And we will be teaching them to rebuild and live with the planet and live alongside the planet without affecting her or the plants or the animals. We live on these grid systems. We live in these crystalline cities, and I'm seeing big towers, and all of humanity live on these grids, and we live with the earth. But from these grids, we're able to send out energy to the planet for her to heal and for nature to come back. We're going to live alongside the earth, and we'll be able to visit the plants and the animals, but our home will be in these cities. And some of it is above water, some of it is below, some of it is on land, some of it may be on a floating platform up above. But all these cities are on a grid line, and humans are more dispersed along these grid lines. We're more concentrated just on the small points of these grid lines, but we're not spread all over Earth, rather than being spread all around so that we don't affect the earth how we used to. It sounded like what you were saying was there was less people as well. Well, there's less people in the beginning, but slowly there will be more and more people joining us. A lot of people didn't make it through the transition. I feel like their energy wasn't quite there yet. They weren't energetically ready, but they left for a time. They were able to leave the earth for a time, and slowly they're going to be coming back. And we're trying to get these cities ready for them. We're trying to get everything ready in preparation. The people that are still here are the ones that have the capacity to deal with the shifts and to handle these energies. And they're the ones that are going to be the forerunners. They're the ones that are going to know how to bring the earth back to where she needs to be. and the rest are just going to follow. They're on their way, they're coming. We've just got to get it ready for them. Now, are you able to tell what year this light happens in? And if you want, you can ask somebody. I keep getting 2022. I keep hearing 2022. Okay, let's go to the time briefly before the light hits, between the middle of 2021 and before this light. And let's see what happens on the earth, because you mentioned that your family knew this was going to happen at this time. What kind of information did they receive? Was that an inner knowing or external information? What kind of signs were there that this light would be coming soon? And what was going on Earth at this time? Turmoil. I'm seeing different images. First, I see upheaval. I see confusion. I see a lot of confusion and turmoil, but then I keep seeing an image. I've had dreams of this before as a child, but I keep seeing an image of a huge ship in the middle of my town. And there's lines and lines of crowds of people lining up to board the ship. And I feel like after the turmoil, there will be a time when the masses are boarding the ships. And this is before the light hits. These are the people that will not be able to withstand those shifts to the light. So they are boarding ships. I'm helping them board. Everybody seems to be in a daze, in a hypnotic state, but they know that they have to board these ships. And I know that I have to get them on the ships because the time is coming. My family, they're not in a hypnotic state. They're conscious, they're aware, but they're going with everyone else to assist. They're the ones that are going to be on the ship with everyone else and helping them up on the ship before they can come back down after everything's done. And I'm staying behind and making sure everybody boards that needs to board. My brother and I are going to be the ones to stay behind. And we volunteered for this, and it's going to be difficult. And we're going to be blasted by the light along with those who are ready. The majority of people are going to be on the ship. When do these ships arrive? Right before the light hits. Right before we get hit by the light, the ships will come. It's going to be a short window in time, but we have to get them on the ships fast. How do you eventually convince them? Well, they're not awake. They're in a hypnotic state. How did they get in that state? We put them there. We put them in that state in order to make it easy. We're trying to help them. We're trying to save them so that they're not here when it happens. We have the technology to put them in a hypnotic state, and they'll board the ships and they'll be conscious of what's happening, but they won't be in their mind. And pretty soon after that, the light happens. So it sounds like there were many people who didn't go on the ships, though. Yeah, a lot of people stayed, and these are the people that didn't have to go. These were the people that could take it. They've done the work. They've done the work in order to stay, and they're going to be the first ones to be on the planet, and they're going to help my team get it ready for everyone else. Good. Okay. So these people who knew this was happening, so awakened people or light workers, they're the ones you had to help and act as a medic to when the light hit. The light workers are people like us. They're starseeds. They're not people from here. They're the ones that came down in order to help in this shift. They're going to be aware. They're going to be conscious of everything that's going down. They're going to be down here to help these people who are awake enough to go through the shift. But the people that are going to need our help and are going to be the ones that stayed here and who are awake enough, they're from here. They're from Earth. They've incarnated completely here on Earth. They originated here, but they're at a level where they can handle the energies. They've done the work. They may not all be awake now. They may not be conscious of the fact that they're awake, but they're the ones that are of higher light. Oh, great descriptions. Thank you for that. Now, you mentioned there was much turmoil on Earth when you looked at it before these ships came. What was going on Earth besides what's happening now in 2021 with COVID restrictions and every other crazy thing that's being disclosed? What else was happening at that point? A lot of confusion. I'm seeing smoke. I'm seeing dark skies and upheaval. It's only for a short amount of time. I feel like the world goes into chaos and it feels like a dark storm. A dark storm. There's a lot of smoke and the skies are dark. But I feel like from the point of view from which it from the point from which it starts getting bad to the point where people are boarding the ships, it's not very long. Everything goes into chaos. Everything goes into turmoil. There's violence, but it's almost immediately after we get everyone that we get everyone into the hypnotic state. And it means that the time is coming because the catalyst, the breaking point has happened. Humanity's broken. They finally reached the breaking point. Now it's time. And the violence doesn't continue for too long. It starts and we stop it. What was the final catalyst to reach that breaking point? Information starts to come out. Information starts to come out on a massive scale. People start to learn the truth. And there's a lot of anger, a lot of anger. I can't pinpoint why. I just feel like there's a lot of anger. People finally know what's happening and what's happened. From this anger, there's some rioting, some looting for a short amount of time. The information that comes out happens gradually over a series of time, maybe months, but information keeps coming out and people keep getting more and more upset to the point where there's a breaking point. People can't handle the truth anymore. Those that weren't aware, which is the majority of people, they weren't aware to the reality of what's going on. And as the information comes out, they just keep getting more and more angry. And a small amount of people cause violence, and this creates looting. It spreads, but it doesn't last for long. The storm doesn't last for long. Now, the storm you mentioned, is it an actual physical weather-related storm, or is it a storm of something else? I get the sense that some of it is physical, but mostly it's metaphorical. The dark clouds, the darkness covers the earth. There's a dark cloud that covers the earth and it feels like a storm. I think that's what I'm seeing. It's just darkness. I feel like the earth goes dark for a few days. There isn't a lot of light. There isn't a lot of sunlight coming through for 3 days. For 3 days, we're in a shadow. And while all this is happening, people are scared, frightened. But before it's over, we help people. We help people get in the state. We help them board the ships before it gets too bad. Okay, at this point in the session, I'm moving on to the higher self. Now, I know you could have brought forth many different experiences for my client to see today, but you chose to bring forth that experience. Why did you choose that experience for him to have today? He needed validation. He needed to know who he is and why he's here, what his role is. He has an important mission. He's ready for it. He's been ready for a long time. He's been waiting. He's just been waiting for too long. What should he do in the time that he has remaining before this happens? And will it happen the way that he was shown? It's going to start really soon. The first part of the information release is going to happen really soon. In a few months, things will start to come out. And from there, it's going to be like an avalanche. For some time, it's going to be a period where things keep coming out. More and more information keeps coming out. People are going to be confused. They're going to be shocked. And his role is to be here and help people understand. His main role is to just be here and anchor the light. So when people are going to be hearing this news and they're going to be confused, they're also going to be emotional. He's got to stay grounded and balanced to anchor the light. And he's going to help the people around him in his area to stay in a relative sense of calm. He's going to help. The light that he's anchoring is going to help the area that he's in. He's here for a specific reason. He's in this area for a specific reason, and it's part of that grid system. We are all spread around in a grid, and his family and him are all here in this grid system and are in charge of this area on Earth. This pinpoint and their light is going to help ease the people. So until then, he's just got to stay grounded, stay calm, find whatever he can do to be at peace and to find joy and to meditate and go outside and be present. Enjoy being a dad, enjoy fatherhood. It's not going to last very long. He's not going to be able to fully enjoy it for too long, because pretty soon he's going to be busy and there's going to be other distractions. He's still going to be a father. He's still going to be with his wife and his son, but there's going to be a lot more going on around, a lot more distractions. He's just got to stay grounded and be patient. It's not too much longer now. It's just in July. In July, the first information is going to come out, and that's going to be the beginning. Now, you mentioned that he needs to kind of prepare a bit for this energy. What does he need to start doing in his life for preparations? He's mostly ready. He's been doing his main preparations these last few years. He's been getting these downloads while he sleeps. He's had times where he's woken up in the middle of the night and had buzzing in his head and woken up confused, like he's been elsewhere. He has. He's been somewhere else. We've been getting him ready. We've been hitting him with these strong beams of light, and he's been tuning his energies to it. These moments when he's aware of this, there's times at night when he wakes up and he knows this is happening. It's happened in his meditative states when he's calm. He's aware of the feeling, and he knows we are downloading energy. He knows we are there and we're helping him. We are getting him tuned. He's there, he's ready, he's tuned up. But he's having a lot of trouble right now because everywhere he goes, he's picking up on everyone else's energies, and it's bringing him down. He's tuned up to a level higher than most. So he's having a hard time on a daily basis just being. Handling everyone else's energy is bringing him down. He's not aligned. He's no longer aligned to everything else. He's not aligned to the media. He's not aligned to the people he interacts with, but we have to help him. We have to help him tune to where he needs to be because he's not always there. Do you recommend that he does anything in particular to protect his energy and his vibration? He's protecting himself. He's conscious of it. He knows how to protect himself, and he tries to meditate at night before going to bed. And when waking up, he focuses on putting a bubble of protection around himself and his family. And he's really good at it, but he hasn't been good at doing a lot of it lately. But he needs to continue doing this. He needs to do this daily. He needs to meditate daily. He needs to try and meditate. Meditate outside, connect to the ground, have his feet touching the ground. This will help. A lot of it doesn't really have to do with him and his energy levels. He's not where everyone else is, and it's not their fault. He's in preparation for the shift. He's been preparing, and he's been putting himself at the level of these frequencies, and he has to stay in this frequency. But the downside of this is that he's not at the same frequency as everyone else. So they have to meet him. They have to meet him. And that's part of his job. He's not conscious of this, but everywhere he goes, everyone he comes near, he touches them and they feel his energy. And at a subconscious level, they recognize that energy. And it reminds people that they need to connect to his frequency. They need to move up. So he is a reminder. he walks around and he reminds people of the energy that they frequently need to tune into. He's really hard on himself because he feels that he's not in the light. He feels that he's bringing himself down because he feels like he's not being a good light worker. But he has to understand that it's because of this disconnect. He has to be at a level higher than everybody else in order to remind them of what they need to reach. And he is disconnected. He's been disconnected his whole life. He knows this, but he struggles with it. And unfortunately, he knows that it comes with the territory. He knew what he was getting into reincarnating, that he will be disconnected and it comes with the territory. He just needs to stay as high frequency as possible. He'd like to know, how can he support his family, his wife, his parents during this next stage as we lead up to this time? He worries about his family, but what he needs to understand is that they're down here for the same reason. They are all part of his team. They all came down from the same ship, and they all came down and volunteered for the same mission. So his little brother and him had the hardest time feeling the disconnect because they were the most recent ones, and they came at a more difficult time. His older siblings came down for the same reason, but they've dealt with it better. They've been able to deal with it better. And it just has to do with the timing. As we get closer and closer to the shift, things get harder for the light workers. So people that come down here, even now, they feel the disconnect even stronger, but he needs to be aware that his family are doing their thing. They all came down for the same purpose and they're fulfilling the same mission. He doesn't need to worry about them. He was curious about his son. Is there a reason they finally had this child just as turmoil started to pick up in the earth? Can he learn more about who he is? And does his son have anything to say to him? He came down from the ship. He's part of the team. He wasn't ready to come back down before, but we needed more volunteers. We are getting close and we need all the light. We need all the light down here that we can muster, and he volunteered to come down here. He's strong. He's doing the same thing. He's anchoring the light, but he is fresh. He hasn't been weighed down. And part of the reason why he came down here at this time was to help his father, to distract him. He needed a distraction. He's been waiting for too long. He's been close to the breaking point where he can't wait any longer, and he's been ready for a long time. It's been hard on him. It's been hard for him to be a father. He's had his ups and downs, but he needed this distraction at this time. He needed something else to focus on rather than the waiting game. He's not going to wait for too much longer, and he doesn't need to worry about his son or his wife or their safety. They are going to be okay. They are going to be fine. But until then, he can just focus on being a dad and enjoy what comes with it and focus on loving his wife, giving his son everything he needs. They are doing a great, great job. They don't need to doubt themselves. He is happy and he loves his parents and he knows who they are. He's happy with them. He just wants you to love, and he was happy to have a chance to come down here. He didn't think he was going to be able to, but we gave him that opportunity. And it's just going to be for a short amount of time. But he's so, so, so happy to be down here as the transition happens. Right now, he's smiling and laughing. He says he came at the best time possible. He is sitting back and he's enjoying everything. He didn't have to deal with the darkness. He didn't have to be here and be weighed down. He's laughing at his father. He's saying, he's kind of jokingly teasing, like, you've got to do the hard part, and I've got to come down here and just watch the show unfold. Thank you. He wanted to know about his mood swings. How can he better manage them so they don't affect his life? And how can he find more joy? He's been working at it. He's been doing a good job. Again, it's the disconnect. It's a disconnect because he comes from a place of such joy and light and love, But being down here on Earth, he thought he was ready for it. But as soon as he came down, he had trouble connecting with people. He always had trouble connecting with people, and he's always wanted to go back to that ship. He didn't realize it was going to be so hard. So he gets mad. He gets mad that things aren't how they should be. He's got a very structured mind. He gets mad at how chaotic society is, how unstructured it is. He knows things can be done a lot better, and he's very stubborn. He's ready to fix the planet. He's ready to fix society, and he gets frustrated with how humans are, how humans have created society, and he's looking forward to the rebuilding portion. He's done being here. He's done being here. He's never been able to find joy because he knows what true joy is, but he just has to be strong, be more present, be outdoors, find time for himself. He needs to find time for himself. His wife, bless her soul, she just wants to give him that time, and she does, but he is stubborn. He's so stubborn, and he gets it from his mother, and he needs to accept that he can't do it all. Go do stuff for yourself. Go outside. Exercise when you want to exercise. Go mountain biking. Don't be lazy. Just make the time. Your wife is strong. She can handle motherhood. She can watch the baby. You are doing everything for her. You are doing everything for him. Now, just take care of yourself. Now, he asks about, and you already mentioned, disclosure in July, some sort of disclosure in July. What will be the first bit of information that will be disclosed? Yes, so that's going to be the beginning of this. He's been hearing a lot of information about the Pentagon finally releasing some information. Everyone thinks it's going to happen in June. It's going to happen in July. The government's going to release some information. It's not going to be everything that he knows or wants to hear, but it's going to be the beginning. It's going to create an avalanche of information being released. Once that happens, things are going to start coming out on a daily basis. There's been a lot of UFO sightings recently. There's been a lot of ships in the sky, and it's making a lot of people question. And this is just in preparation. We are trying to get the collective minds ready for this. There's been times in the past when this should have happened, but the information needs to come out. And this time, in the summertime, this is it. This is it. There's been calls before where it was going to happen, and there's been delays, but this is it. And it's going to start with the Pentagon release. He asked, what events will happen this year, and what is the potential that it will and will not happen? And I think that's a very good question to ask. All the things that you've shown him so far, what is the potential that it will and will not happen? There's going to be disclosure this year, no matter what, it's going to happen. But even if it doesn't happen in July, it's going to happen this year. By the end of the year, everyone is going to know that there's extraterrestrials, that there are crafts visiting, and that our government's known about them for a long time. They are going to know, and whether or not our government releases more information, the information is going to be released anyway. So there's no stopping the avalanche. Once it starts, it's not going to stop. So things are going to pick up regardless. No matter what, things are going to pick up. And it's going to move from the acknowledgement of extraterrestrials to more of a release of how our governments have been manipulating people, and people are going to be getting upset. People are going to be angry. It's going to get worse and worse and worse until the time comes. Our society is going to stop. There's going to be some turmoil, but it's not going to be violent, not until the very end. When it does happen, we are not going to let it last. We're going to put a halt to it before it gets really bad. So he doesn't need to worry about that. He just has to prepare. Have food ready. Have some food ready. Tell everybody to have food ready. Make sure to have a plan. He's fine where he is next to the coast. He's been worried about that, but there aren't going to be any great changes, at least not before the shift. That's all going to happen after. He needs to be ready and just be prepared. Have food on hand. There's going to be some turmoil, but everyone's going to take care of each other. Life is going to go on, and people are strong. People adapt. And even though things are going to shut down, we'll all be ready to handle it. So the timeline we were shown was that this July, there will be more disclosure. It continues, leading to more and more anger and chaos and then turmoil. It will be very short-lived because then the ships come, massive amounts of people are hypnotized. They go on the ships. Light workers and star seeds and awakened ones stay on the earth as much as they can or as much as they decide to and are prepared for. And in the summer, that wave comes, or the avalanche of light, as you put it. And I mean, next summer, not this summer. So what is the potentiality of that happening on that schedule versus not happening on that schedule? It's happening in phases. So the next phase we are going to is a release of information. July is the last window of time we have before it can be released. So this is it. We can't wait any longer. We have to release this information, and it's in phases. In this next year, starting this July, it's going to be an awakening of humanity. Information is going to come out, and it's going to be nonstop. The year is going to go by really fast. A lot of things are going to happen. It's going to be a lot of things on the news. It's going to be a lot of confusion. There's going to be a lot of looking at screens, absorbing information, and it has to happen. This has to happen now. It has to start now because Earth has to shift, and we're on a deadline now. She has to shift by next year, the next summer. She can't hold it anymore. The light has to come through, and the light's going to come from our central sun, and it's been wanting to come for a long time, but we have been holding it back. But by this time next year, we won't be able to hold it back any longer. So we have to get the ball rolling. We have to do this, and things have to get moving. So things are going to happen soon, and this will all be the next phase. And once humanity can't take this next phase anymore, once things get to that breaking point and people can't handle the information being released anymore, before things get too chaotic, before any damage can get done, we will step in and we will come forth. And whenever this does happen, it could be in the summertime, it could be before, it could be at any time after this phase starts. When things get violent, it will mean that we need to get the ball started. And once we intervene and get people on ships, then it will only be a few days when the light comes forward. This will be when he knows things are going to happen. When things start breaking down, when people start freaking out to a point where it's going to lead to destruction, then he knows the ships will come and it will pause, and the light that will stay, or the people that will stay, and the light will come and the earth will shift. Be excited. Be excited. You don't have to wait any longer. You don't have to wait very much. It's going to be hard for a lot of people, but you are going to be happy. Once everything happens, you're going to receive some validation. Whenever information comes out, as dark as it is, you know where it's going to lead. You know what it means, and you know what's at the finish line, and that's going to carry you through this next year. Remind yourself of that. Remind yourself of the goal and the mission and what it's leading to, and find joy in that. Be happy with now. It's quiet. Things are calm for a reason. And just take a breath of air. It's calm right now. So everybody can breathe, because it's not going to be calm for very long. Take a breath of fresh air. Enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy your time with your son and your wife. Enjoy your time with your family. Don't worry about your father. You're worried about your dad and his health. He's going to be okay. He's dealing with this for a reason. It's his life plan. It's your mom's life plan as well. Just give him as much love as possible and enjoy this time. Give them love. Give yourself love. Slow down. Don't worry about your business in the water field. You're right. This isn't your calling, but you will be working with water on the new earth. You're going to be helping the water heal, and just do what you're doing. You're meeting people at work. You get to meet people every single day, and that was for a reason. You are here to anchor the light, and you're here for them to catch your frequency, and that's why you're doing what you're doing. Just accept that, and it's not going to last very long. Love. Just love. He asks about any natural gifts that can be uncovered and how he can nurture them. He is very, very intuitive. He can feel when there's others around him. He can feel when there's other beings around him. A lot of the time, it's his light workers. It's us. We're constantly here with him, and he senses it. And he's really good at communicating with us. We are constantly sending him messages. He sees the repeating numbers. He sees us in dreams. We've sent him birds, and he can connect with us better. He needs to meditate more. Continue doing that. Continue releasing that ego and just listening and accepting and hearing our voice. We'll come to him in his sleep. We've been doing it. You've had the dreams. He's aware of them. He wants to be aware of them more. But if we did that more often, then he would struggle more in his day-to-day life because he just wants to connect with the higher energies. And while still living on earth, he needs to find that balance. So we don't let him remember as often, but he gets his reminders here and there. Continue speaking with us. We love talking to him. We will keep sending him messages. He's getting better and listening. He's been doing great work. He's gotten so good in the last few years. Just keep doing what you're doing, and he won't have to be doing it for much longer because we'll all be able to connect soon in the way that he wants. Would you like to tell him anything specifically about the dreams he's had, about the people who have visited him and the UFOs? Yes, we've sent him dreams and he knows. He doesn't need validation. He knows. He's got a lot of guides. He's got an ET guide and he's appeared in his dreams a lot. He's part of his star family, part of his original home. He hasn't been home for a really, really long time. Him and his team haven't been home for a very long time. But this guide is his connection to home, and we've sent him dreams. He's asked questions. He knows why he's been abducted. He's been abducted many times as a child, and some of them haven't been the best experiences for him, but he knew they were going to happen. He knew why they were going to happen before incarnating here. Some of them were meant to be negative, but most of them have been positive. A lot of them have been bringing him up back onto the ship to recharge him. He's had a hard time on Earth, so he needs to come up every so often to recharge him, to make reparations. And he just wants to be up there. And he would rather be up there on the ship. That's where he's comfortable, but he needs to come back down. You need to stay down here for a little longer. His guides are with him. We are part of his galactic team. Some of us are working in different planes, and some of us are working physically on ships, but he's got a big team with him. We are part of his guides, and we can connect with him at any time, and he can come back onto the ship at any time. He just needs to ask for it. He saw us. He saw us in the sky. We've shown ourselves to him. He calls us. He's called us before. He called us on that roof. Him and his little brother, when they work together, when they put their minds together, and they can do this more often, they can summon us. We'll show ourselves if he wants to. He can do this. How can he communicate more often with his galactic family? He'd like to know. As I said before, we can't connect directly too much because he has a hard time. If we connect with him more, he would only want to continue to connect, and he's so eager to come back home. He's so eager, but he can connect with us. We do speak with him. He's ready to be back on the ship. He's ready to come home, but he just needs to wait a little longer. He needs to. He needs to be there. We are connecting with him. We are with him. We are helping him. We are never far away. So stay grounded. Stay true. Not long now. Do you have any final messages for my client today? You are doing such a good job. Your wife is such a light soul, and she came here to help you. She's helping you stay grounded on this planet. She may not be intuitively aware of where she comes from like you are, but part of her job is to be that foot on earth. Your mind is up high, and her mind has to be down here in order for you to find balance. She's keeping you grounded here on earth. She's keeping you in the present. She is your anchor to the ground. She is your anchor to this incarnation, and she's doing her job, and she's doing a wonderful job. She is a part of your team. You are both anchoring light, but she is your partner to anchor you to the earth. And that is the end of our session. Beautiful, beautiful session. I hope this helps someone out there. I know it helps me every time I read it and listen to it. I think it's full of so much hope, so much fascinating information. And once again, please note that timelines are adjustable. The only the only time we ever get in trouble is if we think we know and we expect a certain timeline and it doesn't happen. So please take note that this is a process. Please take note of the steps that are going to take place. Look out for those. The disclosure of the information, and then the fact that the information is going to start coming out day by day by day by day by day, and then see how this affects the people around you. Please follow the advice that they gave. Get food. That's pretty simple. You're going to eat it anyway. Get food, get food, get food. Stay grounded, stay calm, find joy, enjoy the peace if you have it. Things are about to get lit up. Seriously. All right. So much love to all of you out there. Thank you for your patience as I had to re-record this session after the previous error. So I'm going to end now, and I'm going to hope that this recorded properly. So ta-ta for now. So much love. Bye-bye.